Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Health Chats podcast. I am your host, Kelsey Grieveson, and today's episode is a live recording from my coaching community. I run weekly calls with my women. We talk about fat loss, we talk about hormone health, we talk about all things health, really. And today's episode is about meal prepping and making it simple. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I am the meal prep queen. I will meal prep no matter where I live in the world, no matter where I'm traveling, because no, it's not just about the health that comes from knowing what you put in your own food, but I think there is such an energetic presence that comes from knowing you prepared your food and you took the time and you put the effort and energy into what it is that you're going to be eating. So this call, it's not really about that, but I do give some good tips and tricks and advice for how to make meal prep really easy. If you are watching, you will see that it's me on a slideshow. You will see some of the women. If you are listening, you can take notes. I hope you enjoy either way, and we'll dive right in.
It is one of my favorite topics, I would say. It's a habit that I have had in my own life for probably over 10 years. Even here in Bali, I looked for an accommodation that had a kitchen so I could meal prep. So I want to talk about what I do for meal prep, what works really, really well, how to simplify it, and how you can all build that habit too if you don't already have it. I know many of you do, and you've been crushing it with your meal prep. But yeah, meal prep, it just makes a fitness journey way easier because it's the biggest thing. It is the biggest part of seeing transformation in your body. And if we can get your food right, then everything else will just fall into place. So meal prep and groceries, meal prep simplified. So we've all heard this: failing to prepare is preparing to fail. This is said with grace, but also in that, I guess, energy I'm in right now. The feminine is like the rain and the slowness and the softness, and we're all women and we all have that inside. But to balance that out, we also need the masculine and the drive and the discipline and the truth, which is why Pat and I work really well together. So hearing that, it's like, okay, why am I not seeing results? I probably didn't prepare properly. So start at the grocery store in terms of this topic and then build the habit from there. That's what I like to say, because we got to go to the grocery store. Maybe you order your groceries. That's nice too. But weekly grocery shopping, if that's possible for you, it's going to keep everything fresh. It'll keep your meat fresh, your vegetables fresh, and it'll get you into the habit of doing the same thing each week. Doesn't mean you're eating the same thing each week, but just like, oh yeah, it's Sunday or it's whatever day that you have on your calendar, time to go to the grocery store, do my thing. And then my tip right from the get-go is when you come home, immediately cook your food. Do it right away, because it is so easy to fall into, oh, I've got to do this and I have to do that. And no, there's this other thing. And yes, there's a million things. There are so many things, but then that's procrastination and we're like putting the hard thing on the back burner. So if you've ever heard eat the frog first, if meal prep is something that you're like, I don't want to do it, like I'm so opposed, you got to learn how to just freaking do it. Like do it immediately so you don't let anything go to waste. Now, when it goes to grocery shopping, I love lists, and I know so many of you work this way too. You're my type A girls who are like, I have my schedule, I have everything laid out. So before you even go to the grocery store, check what you have. This way you avoid food waste. Do not show up the grocery store hungry, especially Costco, because you'll do your whole grocery shop and then you're going to see the hot dog and whatever else they have, the ice cream, and it will seem way more appealing than your fitness goals. So try not to go hungry. Have a list. It makes the trip way quicker than you can just get in, get out. You stick to the plan. And when you're actually in the grocery store, stick to the parameters. You'll find when you actually like look at a grocery store, the outside edges is where all of the whole foods are. So usually you walk in, you go into where the produce is, then you go along the back, you see your milk, your eggs, you come around the edge. This is your bakery. The aisles are filled with a lot of processed foods that I'm not saying you're never going to go in there. Like, of course, you're going for spices and maybe there's a protein bar or a protein shake in there. But most of them, they don't help you meet your nutritional needs and they are kind of a waste of money at the end of the day. So Try to avoid the packaged foods. They seem cheaper, but they are very calorie dense. They don't keep you as full longer. So you'll end up spending money on them as compared to just buying yourself whole foods and then a little bit of the processed foods. Now, this hack. So if you have an iPhone, I'm an iPhone girl. Keep a revolving iPhone notes grocery list. Pin it at the top of your phone in your notes app. That way, you know, okay, we're here. When and before you're going to the grocery store, pick 2 protein sources. So I'm going to keep this super duper simple. 2 protein sources. Maybe it's chicken, turkey, eggs, or maybe if you're not eating meat, it's tofu or tempeh. Pick 2 to 3 carbohydrate sources: sweet potato, pasta, rice, quinoa, vegetables. I like to eat in season, so I just have examples on here, but I know depending on the season and where you are, it changes sometimes. So maybe it's spinach, maybe it's more root vegetables. Right now it's summer, so there's probably more berries. Into the next one: fruits, apples, bananas, orange, mango, peaches, berries, and then snacky foods. Make sure you get those. Make sure you're not going and you're like, no, 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 I'm not allowed to have any of that. Because when we tell ourselves we can't have something, what do? We want more of it and we want it in abundance. And that's normally the binge restrict cycle where we say, no, I can't have the chocolate. I can't have the crackers. And then we go eat 10 chocolate bars and an entire thing of Oreos and a bag of chips. And then we hate ourselves. So let yourself have the snacky foods. Let yourself get them, just, of course, in minimal, 20%. And then when it comes to fats, they normally last longer. So on your grocery list, you're not going to be buying olive oils and nut butters and seeds and all of those every week. Because if you look at your meal plan, most of you, or if we go off of like portion control guide, you're normally only having like a thumb amount in each meal. So these last longer, but you can keep them on your revolving grocery list. That way you know what you need when you show up. Now, when it comes to meal prep, there's 2 different types of meal prep. I love this one, batch prepping. This is type 1. This is what I have done for over 10 years, and it has yet to fail me, even in Bali. I just did it on Monday, my meal prep Monday. Batch prep your main ingredients and then build your meals. So cook 2 proteins. So you have your chicken and then you have your ground turkey, let's say. You put these in 2 big containers and you store them in the fridge. Next up, you cook your 2 carb sources. You've got your quinoa and you have your white rice, or you have your sweet potato and white rice. Same thing, 2 big containers, put them in the fridge. Vegetable sources, I would say like optional if you want to cook it. It might be nice, especially if you're not reheating every single meal, to have fresh veggies. But same thing, you get home from the grocery store, cut up your zucchini right away, put it in a container, cut up your carrots, then you have carrot sticks to snack on, cauliflower, put those right in the fridge. And then when you're going to have your lunches and have your dinners later, you already have all of this cooked food and you can just like build it, and you can switch it up with sauces. So that's to the 20% of things like sauces and nut butters that you add on, any sort of like oils or any of that. You can do that with your meals and change how it tastes. So yes, you cooked the same chicken, the same rice, the same whatever, but you can switch it up so it's actually more variety. This is what I find is the simplest way. This is what works for me and exactly what I did. Next slide. Here's my batch prep example. So the first one, this was Monday. This is here in Bali. I made a bunch of chicken. I put it in a container. I made these purple sweet potatoes. We don't have these in Canada. They're delicious. If you guys can get your hands on them, oh my goodness, they're so good. Some white rice, very basic. I cut up some carrots and I cut up some bell peppers. And what I'll be eating this week is putting some rice, some chicken, some bell peppers. I also have mushrooms in the fridge, and adding a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of hot sauce. And I'm like, that's perfect. Super clean and it's flavorful. It works for me. And then same thing with these ones. I did egg bites this day. This one, yeah, I kind of go through the same, like chicken, sweet potato. This is what I enjoy. But of course, find what works for you. If you're like, yeah, this is like my main carb. I know a lot of women in here, you love rice. So like, get your rice and prioritize your rice. And maybe you spice it up in some ways, or you have your different sauces. But that's step 1, or I guess type 1 for meal prep. Type 2, and I think this one is probably the first one most people would think about with meal prep, because if you go on Pinterest and you're like, meal prep ideas, you normally see a bunch of meals built out for you for the next 4 to 7 days. Or if you look up a meal prep service, they normally have everything built for you where they're like, yeah, this is the macro breakdown. We have it all measured out. We have your 100 grams of rice and your 150 of chicken and all of that. And this way absolutely works. I would say it's more helpful if you're super busy and you're going to be out of the house most often and you like find yourself eating out a lot. So similar way, you're going to batch cook stuff in the oven, but choose 2 breakfasts to prepare and make 3 of each. And then choose 1 lunch and 1 dinner to prepare and make 3 of each. That way you have the next 3 days. I mean, you can try to cook for the next 7 days, but by day 3, most people are just going to get bored or the food's going to be dry and it might just not last that long. But most stuff, aside from fish, I would say it lasts in the fridge for like 5 days or so. So choosing 2 breakfasts, choosing 1 lunch, 1 dinner, these are interchangeable. You build them out. So this is where you use your food scale while you're meal prepping. So you cook and then you have each container portion, you put your chicken, you put your rice, you're like, okay, that's 1. Okay, that's 2. Okay, that's 3. So it takes a little bit longer, but I would say for your future self, it's really helpful, especially because many of you are outside of the house all day. And some photo examples, I actually wanted to shout out Marjorie because this is exactly what she did. So I have a screenshot she put here in the super chat. And when I saw that, I was like, girl, can you meal prep for all of us? Like, this looks so good. And then another one, this one I found on Pinterest because, yeah, this is what Pinterest shows us. And it's like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be meal prepping like that? And you absolutely can. You absolutely can. I would just say, like, in all honesty, it takes longer. Now, when it comes to cooking, so you'll hear me always come back to like, keep it simple, keep it simple. We might be chefs for our families. We might be chefs when we put on dinner parties for our friends. We might be chefs in many, many ways. When it comes to building a habit, and that goes for any sort of habit, the more simple you can be towards it, the easier it will become to ingrain in yourself. Once you do that, then you can become a fancy chef with your meal prep. But I say keep it simple from the beginning. If you're not already meal prepping consistently every single week, do it this way. Cook your meat in the oven, put spices on it, nonstick pan, bake your vegetables in the oven at the same time with your meat. Bake your potatoes in the oven at the same time. Like, so simple. Most things can be cooked at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So easy cleanup. You have like 3 pans in there. Don't try to do anything else while you're cooking. This is my mindful tip. When we, especially as women, I'm guilty of it. We're like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could clean. Oh, I could go like vacuum right now. And oh, my kid needs this. Then it feels like, my gosh, meal prep is so hard. When really we're just doing way too many things at the same time and we're making it seem bigger than it actually is in our brain. So try to just be in the kitchen, be with your food, cook your food, and clean it up, and then go on and do everything else. This way, you're not going to burn anything and you're not adding any extra stress to your brain around the idea of meal prepping. And time. So I guess 2 different ways you could do it. If time is your challenge, which I know for many of the ladies here it is, I say commit 3 hours on a Sunday to do all of it, or whatever day works best for you. If it's not Sunday, your food just might not be as fresh. But if you are more flexible, try to do half of it Sunday, other half Thursday. Put it in your calendar. I can put it in your calendar for you. We can put it in there as a habit if you know which 2 days will work the best. And then you do half, you do your first 4 days, and then you do your next 4 days. Things will keep fresher longer. Cooking method is exactly the same for both. It's just really up to your time and whether you're measuring everything out. But that is it. That is meal prep advice. The key, again, we'll come back to keeping it simple. Try not to make anything glamorous. I think as humans, we love to overcomplicate things. I don't know what it is with us beings, but we really love to do it. All of us, myself included, even as your coach, when really, if we can come back to like the simplicity of, okay, what do I need to eat? A protein, a carb, and a vegetable. That's pretty much all I really need in order to build this habit to see fitness results. And once you've built that, become the chef of your dreams, become Buy-in. If you guys were at the retreat, he's a chef. He's been dialed into this. This is like what he does. But most of us, we're not that. We're nurses, or we're mothers, or we're coaches, right? So build it as a simple habit first, and then you can build from there.
If you found this episode helpful, inspiring, motivating, empowering, or anything at all, please leave a comment below. Send this to your friends, send it to someone who might need it, and send me a message if you ever have any questions or comments or suggestions for what I could talk about on the podcast. My ears and my mind are always open. So thank you so much for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.